Hello, very nice to meet all of you. Now I understand why it was so easy to get here, because Andrei called me like a week ago. I was traveling and I had just a few days to prepare for this presentation, but hope you will enjoy it. As you can notice, I made it using Gamma, which is AI. Sorry for that, but I think it did a great job and I corrected it quite a lot, so overall I think it's not so bad. So today I'm gonna tell you, let me introduce myself first. So I'm Oleg, and I was working in IT for more than 20 years. I started as a developer, and then I was on different management positions. I think I covered most of the positions in IT department, except QA probably, and finally I became a CTO and worked as a CTO in several companies. And basically, in this presentation, I want to talk about my experience and tell you what changes when your role in a company changes, how can you look, how you start looking at things from different perspective, because in the beginning you think that some things are weird and you don't understand how it works, or you think there is some God who, orchestrates everything. But in the end, you realize that there are like usual people who also make mistakes and also do not always understand what is happening on other levels in the company. And okay, it works. So very often, I noticed that many people who I know still confused quite a lot why there are different weird situations at work. For example, they very often do not understand the actions of their management, or even they do not understand why their colleagues behave in a certain way, why they're being unpolite to them and don't want to do things, and they don't understand this motivation. So I will try to cover some typical stereotypes of each role in the company, and tell you some situations which I had in my experience. I will not be mentioning company names or people, so it's kind of collaboration of my experience from different companies, but it's sort of all based on a true story. So let's start with developers. This is probably the easiest, the closest thing that most of you know. And there is kind of informal way to categorize developers. So the first one is a rock star. Maybe you've seen people like that in your company. So these are people who basically like technology a lot. They're very smart, but very often they refuse to do things the way that management wants them to do it. So they try to overcomplicate things, use technologies that are not necessary for some particular tasks. And they are like a bit of a divas and stars that you have to deal with them. But the thing is, you still need them, because at some point you have some, for example, critical problems on production, and there is a bug which you need to be fixed urgently. And then you can come to this guy and look him in the eye, and then he understands that this is the time when he actually needs to do something for you, and he needs to help you. So yeah, otherwise he may be talking to other CTO the next day. And then they can be very helpful and they can fix problems really fast. But you cannot do this too often, and most of the times you just give them some projects which are not, maybe do not have so much value for business. It's some internal projects for development, for improving system. But you can have this guy when you need it, when you need to do something urgent, or when you need to build some architecture, for example, for something. By the way, I forgot to tell you in the beginning, if you feel like interrupting me, commenting or asking any questions, feel free to do so. There will be more time in the, yes?
Don't you mess Rockstar with Drama Queen?
I mean, there are some similarities, I think, because, come on. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that these things kind of black or white, and you can basically, there are some developers who are somewhere in between some of these roles. Yeah, yeah.
Which one were you before you became CEO?
I think I was, I haven't covered them all yet, but I think I was the basically normal one, probably, the average Joe on this picture. Maybe a bit of careerist as well. Somewhere, yeah, somewhere between these two, but closer to this one, I think. But let me cover the rest of the stereotypes. I mean, you probably understand them anyway, but still. So politician is a guy who is great at talking, great at showing interest in front of management especially, but usually not willing to do much stuff. But they know what management wants, and they know how to deal with the management. Many programmers usually don't like these guys because they are not working that much, they're not doing what they should. But some of these guys actually become pretty good managers. But again, not always, because if the guys like lie too much or invent stuff and don't want to do like anything at all, then they should go to sales, because these guys have no shame. So, but yeah, the average Joe is a normal developer who basically understands how things work. He is more or less responsible, reasonable, knowledgeable, and does everything as it should in overall. Of course, there are guys who are better and worse, but anyway, this is the guys who you mostly need in the company. And then there is a slacker. These are useless guys when you hired by mistake, which try to turn everything into a problem and say that they don't want to do anything. They always say the task wasn't described properly, the bug is not happening on his computer, and like all kind of things. Okay, but let me give some example. It's not like completely as it happened, but more or less I had similar situations. So let's imagine, for example, a company where everything works more or less good. Let's say it's not a startup, but not a corporation. Maybe development department is like 30 people. And in this company, everything is works properly. There are like normal release cycles, some processes. There are like project managers, product owners, developers, team leads. And let's imagine that it works pretty much well. So it's not a complete shit show. And so how can you ruin this? What happens? Basically, at some point, for example, let's imagine CEO goes to some conference and meets there some really big client, which he wants to onboard. And I mean, he wants to become client for this guy. So they have some drinks, they discuss things, and then he realizes that he needs to sell the company to get to become the client of this big guy. So basically, when they start talking business, and this guy asks, okay, how fast can you integrate with our system? He says, we have very efficient team, which is really agile, so we can do it in 1 week tops. And of course, he understands that's probably impossible. That guy also probably understands that, but he also understands that guy who tell them that they do it in a month probably won't do it in a month either. So the sale is happening, and basically, what can we really blame CEO? Because he did it, otherwise he wouldn't get this client, right? So then he goes back to the company where he works, talks to CPO or somebody on the C-level, they discuss it like, okay, that's kind of problematic, we have other things, but we can reshuffle them, let's move priorities, put something here, something there. So they do it. And then they come, for example, to CTO as well. And like each next level is more unhappy, of course, because they get more shit than others, because they actually have to do. And then, for example, it comes down to the team lead and project manager. So CTO meets them and says, guys, I'm very sorry, but now we have to do this feature in a week. I know we had other plans, but that's what you have to do. So basically they start discussing. And of course, just 2 days ago, they had a bi-monthly meeting where decided this time we're gonna make it great. We're gonna check all the backlog, we're gonna make all the priorities. They spent like 1 or 2 days for that, organized everything, and thought now we can finally live peacefully in this company and just to maintain everything because it will work. And then after they heard this news, they are devastated. Like, what should we do now? Like, okay, they basically go to bar, get drunk, decide that this will be done by some developer, and the next morning they announced it to the team. Team is extremely happy, of course, because, well, that's exactly what they wanted. But then they convinced them to do this, team starts, and then, for example, 3 days later, project manager is really happy with the progress. He goes to, they have some meeting, let's imagine where is CEO present or CTO, whatever. And then he says, you know, guys, we actually did it. We actually very close to doing this within 1 week. Team is working hard. But it's like, we actually forgot to tell you. Don't worry, because the client we talked to, their servers are not ready for the integration. So maybe we should do it in 3 weeks or 4 weeks. It's no big deal. He's like, maybe we should at least keep it from the team and still do it. Like, no, we cannot do it because team will notice, and we still have other tasks which are now higher priority than that. At this point, project manager thinks, yeah, should I kill myself? Should I quit? Should I start taking drugs? What would be the best option? Yeah, and that's what it happens in this situation. Basically, it's really difficult to blame anybody in a way, because everybody was trying to do their best. But of course, the guys on like developers or even the project manager, they do not understand where this is coming from. So this can look like a complete bullshit. Okay. Let's talk about the team leads now. So the team lead is a bit higher position in this hierarchy. And basically, as you probably know, they have a bit more responsibilities. So they should be responsible for their team, for a little bit for the delivery of the team, mostly from the technical perspective. So they need to make sure that everybody in team is relatively happy. They need to choose proper tasks for each team member to make sure that they are more efficient. They need to check, use the proper technology stack and monitor the team progress and stuff like that. But there are like several types of team leads. One is a micromanager. This is the guy basically who is afraid to let it go and delegate. So he is controlling everything which everybody is doing. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more on the next slide. Then there is a facilitator. These are more or less synonym to average Joe from the developer slide. These are guys who do it, in my opinion, at least properly. They can delegate, they just support the team, they try to be the bridge between higher management and development, and they, do it all as they should. And then there are tech junkies. These are the people, usually previously developers, who became managers. It happens actually quite often. Management thinks if it's a good developer, then probably he can be team lead, because then he can help other developers to evolve and control the code quality and stuff like that. But in my opinion, it's not always the best solution, because such people not always happy with the management part. They hate all these meetings. They hate to explain to management what they're doing and making some reports and stuff like that. So these guys can actually become software architects or somewhere on the side, not inside this hierarchy. Yes. Yes. Who?
Do you think that non-technical, non-engineer can be a good engineering manager?
No, I don't. I think that all, in IT department, I believe that all the management should have at least some technical experience.
So all of them are tech junkies?
No, but that's no. That's not it. Because I am a technical person, but I'm not tech junkie. So some technical people, they can become managers, and they actually like it. They like working with people. They like setting up processes, talking to people, and stuff like that. Even though if they were technical previously. So that doesn't always true.
What would be the lowest technical threshold to pass, in your opinion?
It really depends on the company, what they are doing, because, well, I think you need it on a level that you can understand your developers. You can understand their problems and you can talk to them. If you cannot do this, this is a problem. Well, I hope that answers the question. Yeah, let me check my notes actually. Yeah, okay. Let's talk about the micromanagement, because I also have experience with that, personal experience, which I didn't really like. So I'm not gonna tell you the names or company names as I promised. But basically I was working in an environment where the micromanagement was thriving. And I mean, actually each style of management in different situations, in different companies can be sort of good. It's not always bad, there is no like bad or good styles of management, depending what company does, what kind of people they have. But with micromanagement, it's difficult because people who are really smart, people who have initiative or they want to do something differently, they are not encouraged. So micromanagement kills initiative of these people, and they either leave or they become highly unmotivated. And but if your company wants to really save money on developers and take some guys that like are really dumb and had no previous experience before, and they expect you to take their hand and lead them and basically do everything for them, then it works. But I don't like personally working in these companies, but I'm not saying that these companies shouldn't exist, because there are different scenarios. And yeah, so I really think that micromanagement in most of the cases do not work. And this is also exhausting for managers. I don't know why they do it, because they like become a chaos managers. They think they're so smart, nothing works without them. And they're these people, oh, I did this, did that today. I did so many things. But in truth, when I was a manager, my job was basically do everything possible that my job is obsolete and I don't need anything to do. It never happens, but this is the goal. So when you're manager, I think your goal is basically to get rid of all the job that you have and try to automate things, try to make it so that it all works without your intervention as long as possible. So these managers who are saying like, oh, I'm a good manager because I had a 1 week vacation and everything went to shit, I don't think they are good managers. Good managers, if he leaves work for like a long period of time, everything keeps working. This is my definition, at least, of a good manager. Any questions so far or comments? Yeah?
You mentioned there are 6 fingers on the base. No, not the previous one.
Oh.
previous, not the next.
Where?
The micromanage.
Ah, wait. I was. Oh, cool. Yes, AI generated. This was actually, yeah. I generated the presentation using Gamma, but this image, yeah, I think it was using Gamma as well. So, yeah. And actually, these images which had text, I had to regenerate them with ChatGPT because this other AI was unable to put text on images at all. So where was I? Okay. Project managers. Am I still in time, Andrei? Huh? Okay. Okay. I'm just thinking, should I slow down, speed up, or? Okay.
Manager, I think, must know like what the perfect speed.
Yeah, okay. Just checking. Okay, let's move to project managers. This now becomes more complicated because I think not everybody understands what like project managers do. For some people, it could be something like project manager. It's just like some guy who walks around in circles and says stuff, but why do we really need this guy? Who is he? And sometimes there is confusion between project managers and product owners, and then there are product managers as well, and then it kind of becomes really confusing. At least I think previously I had this confusion. Don't know about you. Yeah. So what? Maybe again, I'll try to give some example. It's easier. So how usually things are working? I like examples with urgent tasks because it goes kind of not exactly as usual flow in the company. So I'm just trying to demonstrate that when you try to change something slightly, everything starts getting really bad. And in this sense, this is where project manager comes in. Let's imagine we have some urgent task on production. You need to fix something. You take your team, you sit together, you explain them, okay guys, this is urgent, we need to do this. There is, for example, QA manager or head of QA, whatever. Team lead who will be responsible for this, and maybe DevOps if this you need to deploy this task separately, not with your usual like pipeline. So you take all these guys, you sit in the room together, and you explain to them, okay guys, here what we need to do. Let's imagine again, this is not a shit show situation, so the task is relatively well described. Everybody understands what has to be done. There are like clear deliverables, there are clear timelines, and everything seems clear when you talk to these guys at least. Then you happily leave and wait. And maybe you also create a separate chat for them just for this issue because it's important for you to understand what is happening. So you mention, okay guys, if you have some progress, when you have some progress, please report in this chat so that I can see what is actually happening here. So developer takes the task, completes it. And of course, for developer, when let's assume he even tested this task on his own computer, he didn't forget to commit it, and then he is really happy and goes to lunch. And then project manager looks in the chat, nothing is happening. So he comes to the team, where is developer, what happened? Oh, he went to lunch, but he said he completed everything. But it's like, okay, there is nothing in the chat, the status didn't change to QA. Like, oh yeah, he just forgot to do this, but not a problem. And then this starts, okay, he puts the task to QA, then he comes to QA department. Of course, there is also everybody at lunch, but finally they find some guy who works remotely to test this issue. And then there is some ping pong, and then, for example, you leave, and then you come again, then people forget that they need to use chat. They said, yeah, but why do we need to use chat? We were just in one room, so we communicated with each other, and we know what is happening. Yeah, it's good that you know, but manager doesn't know, so nobody understands what is happening behind the curtain. And this is, I think, also a very common mistake that I don't know how many times I was trying to explain to people that they need to use like proper statuses. They need to use proper ways of communication where management can also see their progress. Because they don't do it and they think that, well, of course they did everything, but nobody knows anything. And then the project manager starts coming and bugging everyone, and everybody thinks, why is this guy bugging us? We did everything, we did it right, but he's just still asking. Yeah, that's why, because you never communicated this properly to him. So basically, yeah, of course, there are some situations where a team leads can be project manager, or product owners can be mixed with project manager, or maybe there are companies where everything works so smoothly and everybody is so responsible that this is not needed at all. But this was never my experience. In my experience, everything that can go wrong always goes wrong. And these people basically try to plug the holes and, help to understand what is happening. Without them, it's very difficult. Okay. Sorry, I need some water. So let's talk about product owners. Oh, I forgot I have this clicker. So product owners are responsible for the product. So they actually the guys who talk to the upper management, maybe CPO, Chief Product Officer, if you have one in the company, or CEO, and they try to actually understand what business wants, and they try to put these tasks in a way that developers can understand it, at least on a high level. So it's like they specifying like deliverables. They work with the designers if needed to create the UI UX if it's used, if it's not just some back-end development. And these guys basically, responsible to explaining in normal language what has to be done. They also I cannot say that. Prioritize, thank you, these tasks, and try to make sure that the things that done in correct order, basically, because if they know that there are like some two tasks which take different amount of time, but they're like equally important for management, of course they try to do the first one which takes less time, which makes sense. And they work closely with project managers, because project managers talk to the team and try to give some rough estimates in the beginning so that they can put it all together. And also very often there are problems. I also give you some examples. So basically, very often I think developers have situation that why doing this task, this kind of doesn't make sense, it looks stupid. But sometimes there are situations, for example, you want to test some functionality as a business, and you are not sure if you want to make it like full-scale feature that takes lots of time, or if you want to throw it away. So how you do this? You just basically make some kind of A/B testing. But sometimes it's really difficult to explain to the developers that you should make this very quickly and dirty, and it should be made of shit and sticks. Because then they start complaining, what's the point of doing it in such a way? That's not how things are done here in this company. This is the poor code quality, and we cannot do it in such a hurry. And they start to overcomplicate that. But if they do that and you throw this away, then they start complaining, oh, come on, we spent so much time on this task and now you're just shutting it down and closing it. Like, why do you do that? So it's really kind of tough decisions for product owner to how to communicate these kind of situations. Because if you say that this task will be high probability, it will be thrown away, then the commitment for doing that will be very low. So sometimes you have to basically lie and say, okay, maybe we just pretend that it's really urgent and we have to do it in such a way that we do not overcomplicate it, but yet get it done quickly. And yeah, But that's, again, a challenge for the product owner, and that's why very often people don't like them, because there are just things that's difficult for them. And now we come to the C-level, which is even more complicated, because on this level, people have to be the bridge between development and the management. So, I mean, if there wouldn't be a CTO, then basically I can see like two extreme scenarios. In one scenario, business just starts throwing tasks at the development department like there is no tomorrow, and they basically sink in the technical depth because they are not able to explain that this is not the way we want to do this, because for business, it's always like, do this, do that, quick, it has to be ready yesterday, like. And of course, this is not going to end well. And if, for example, development would be winning, then it would be only very good quality code, constant refactoring and stuff like that, or using some cool technologies, but things are not getting done. So CTO is kind of bridge which should make this communication in a way that everything works properly, that the business doesn't push too much on the development team, but development team still has some freedom to do the things they need, which are, in the end of the day, are also beneficial for the whole company. And for example, I had some really tough situations where I knew that basically high probability that company may shut down in like, I don't know, months or two, or like the half of the development department will be fired by me. And I cannot say it to anyone, because I know if I say it even to one person, then this person tells to other person, and everybody knows. So I have to go there and smile and pretend that we have some cool things to do for the last months, and then next day I like fired a bunch of people. This is not very good experience, but yeah, that is the challenges that CTO can face. Or it can be the other way around, where, for example, business requests some feature which is kind of super urgent, but I know it only is required for demonstration for some client, and the actual release happens later. So you can also take the risk and pretend that it kind of works. You know how this magic of Apple presentations where everything works and there's shit show behind the curtains? This is a similar situation where when you demo something and you think, okay, we still have like 2 weeks to fix it properly, but the management is happy because they see it kind of works, UI looks nice, and yeah, there are some small hiccups, but nothing serious. So, yeah, things like that. So basically what I want to say in the end, that yeah, these are a bit different worlds, different kind of perspective of things on each level, but people still have shared goals because it's one company, and if the company goes down or things going better, then nobody benefits from it. So of course, I suggest you should try to understand management and talk to people and ask questions and try to understand why things work the way they are. Because there are very often situations when you think that these people are complete idiots and they're doing some very weird things, but in reality, they just have no choice, and they are also working with limited kind of resources, and there's nothing they can do. And yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions, if you want to discuss anything or share your experience that you had in the company and hear my comments, feel free to do so. Yes?
Basically, I'm a manager, and probably I can support you with a couple of points for everyone who's not a manager.
Mm-hmm.
So, project managers are responsible for 49 processes, if I'm not mistaken, according to DEVCLUB.EE.
Mm-hmm.
So you can imagine how many work is being done by project manager every day. And from my perspective, I think the honesty, ethics, empathy works pretty well with everyone. the part of communication for sure.
Mm.
And whenever I, as a manager, approach people, I always try to bring context. So whenever you don't get this information from project manager, you should feel free to ask, why did they make this decision? What is background for the things they're asking for? And the other thing that comes up to my mind, which actually Blink today due to release we have to process, is if it's not raised, manager doesn't know about that. If it's not highlighted, if it's not pushed, most probably in the time when we work offline, remotely, people would not know. So everyone in the team is kind of in charge of bringing the information.
And yeah, well, I completely agree with you. What you can also do, you can proactively ask for feedback from the developers or people you work with who are on the level below you, because very often these people just quietly hate you and do not communicate you anything, like what are their problems, what they think about you. So you just have to go forward and ask them, and then they tell you, and then you can explain. Yeah.
So yes, that's quite general activity. I haven't heard about this a lot in Estonia. There are one-to-ones that should be held,
Yeah.
especially when the things go good. So don't be afraid and ask your managers to have these one-to-ones. It's quite helpful, but when the things start going wrong, it's too late to have these one-to-ones. Because probably you already burned out.
Yeah, actually, I remember. Do I still have time, or?
We have 5 minutes.
5? Okay, but I can tell another story. But if there are questions, let's yeah.
Yeah, I also wanted to ask a question. First of all, thank you for the presentation.
You're welcome.
I wanted to go back to what you were sharing about the most challenging aspects of work of a CDO, being this bridge, and basically having to play both teams at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty clear how that is challenging. What I'm curious about is what sort of personality traits or skills help CDOs navigate that. So what kind of people can do this job? Obviously, effectively and good.
I think you need to have empathy. I think I do, and it helps a lot, because when people have problems, you can spot it very fast, and you can understand that something is wrong, even if you don't know what exactly and they haven't told you anything. And it also helps because you try to make everybody basically as happy as possible without hurting the company or somebody in particular. So you just have trying to maintain the balance within the company. And yeah, I don't think I know any other CTOs really closely, so it's really difficult to compare myself to others, because I feel like I was doing more or less well, but yeah.
But you believe that empathy was key in your case too?
I think it helps in many cases, yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes?
As ex-CTO to ex-CTO.
Yes.
Right, so, people engineer say, this CTO, he's paid 5 times more than I do, right? And roughly speaking, they don't know the salary.
Yeah, okay.
10 times, doesn't matter, right? So, and then they say, well, we are paid for opinions. The higher you go, the more you're paid for opinion, and not for technical skill. And sometimes opinions I'm sharing, or vision I'm sharing, can feel stupid for other people, right? And
sure.
But I cannot share the full context. Sometimes, you cannot simply, spend several days with a team to tell the whole background story and say, and now you need to understand why this decision is made.
No, of course.
Because sometimes you need to really be brief, navigate people, and just say, hey, that's the way we do, or this is the solution, and so on. So how to behave in these situations? Because the original, let me provoke you a bit, the original title of the talk was, why not all managers are dumb? But they feel dumped because people sometimes do not understand what they're doing, and they make their own outcomes based on not just.
No, very, very good question. Thank you. I think I understand what you mean. I had similar situations. And in some situations, not only you don't have time, but basically you just cannot reveal some details to people because they will start panicking, or it's just impossible. Or you signed an NDA with some client, and yeah. Usually what I try to do is I try to explain to people to the extent that it's possible to justify my actions. And if it's still not possible, I can basically tell them honestly, guys, look, I have some knowledge that I cannot share with you, but believe me, I'm kind of doing what is right for the company and for you, and you have to trust me, because when you constantly try to explain everything to people and they know that in other situations you can explain it to them, they probably will trust you this time when you can't. That's my opinion again. Yes?
How good music can be helpful with managing a team of developers?
Music.
Yeah, good music.
That's an interesting question. I think I personally wasn't able to use much of the music, but I mean, in a sense, I think many developers probably share the music likes, and it's good when you have something in common, so they can talk about it, they can exchange the music and stuff like that. And of course, also very often they sit on their places with headphones on, listening to the music, and you shouldn't. You shouldn't discourage them. That has to be like normal, and you should understand that when you need to talk to somebody, you just need to come to them and tell them, man, I'm sorry for disturbing you, but I need to talk. That's yeah. I don't think I have any other to say. Yes, please.
What makes CTO good or bad? And based on that, what's the best roadmap for being CTO? What type of background?
Good or bad? I mean, well, CTO basically needs to make sure that the company makes money. So he's on side of the business. But again, he needs to organize it in a way that everybody is happy in his department, because but because if they're not, the business will not get what they want as well.
What CTO has, which his managers doesn't have? Like, what's the difference between just manager and CTO? Or it's exactly the same?
Basically, probably similar, just on a much higher level. So you just have more power, more responsibility, and you have to manage more people. So you have to understand better how this works, and that the mistakes you make affect the company.
You manage vision and strategy of the company. You don't manage people. People are managed by lower level of abstraction.
No, I don't agree at all, because I feel it like all the people who are in IT department are still managed by me. Even it can be through managers or whatever. There are some layers, but when I feel like there is a problem, I can go like several levels down, and I can still talk to them if I feel like I need to.
It's called micromanagement, I think, right?
No, it's micromanagement when I do this not because I have to, but because I want to, and then I go to every team and every person and talk to everyone, and that's not possible. But only when I see that there is a problem, I can actually go there and see what it is. From time to time, I was very often going to QA room. I had some people there I talked to, so I was trying to basically be the person who communicates with everyone on a daily basis, and at least feels like the vibe that they have, to understand if the people are happy or not happy and stuff like that. Yes.
What kind of trends for using AI in management? Do you see some useful techniques or tools?
Yes. I mean, I was when I was working CTO, it was a bit like a year ago, but still, I mean, some things improved in some ways. I was using AI a lot, for example, for helping me to manage the processes inside the company. So I was basically making good documentation about how everything works, what are responsibilities of product owner, project manager, team lead, and AI was helping me a lot with that, and I was of course challenging it, arguing with it. So I mean, for starters, yeah, it's a really good knowledge base where you can query very fast with your questions, and it helps you a lot in anything related to management or like technology even. It helps always, yeah.
Let's have one last question.
Okay.
What culture should a good CTO set inside the IT department?
What culture? I really like, if I understand the question correctly, that I always try to keep kind of the positive vibe in the company and make everybody feel that they're appreciated and their job is important, and trying to be kind of helpful in any way I can if it doesn't well go against the kind of company policies or things. I mean, in a way that I'm not gonna be wiping your ass because this is not my job, even if you want to. But if something I help you with helps you perform better for the company, I will help you.
Okay, thank you, Oleg.
Thank you.